This video will be what I believe the Horizon 6 devs can improve on and add to the game, which I believe these things aren't too crazy and shouldn't be too difficult. This is in no way me shitting on the game. It's actually a really good game. I'd probably give it an 8.59 out of 10. This is mainly constructive criticism and a wish list. And I think if a few of these are fixed or added to the game, I think it could be a 9.5 or even a 10. I've been playing a lot since the pre-order early access, and I'd say that this is probably by far their best map they've made so far. So I wish a dev or maybe a few devs could possibly see this, because I think this game has by far the most potential of any of the Forza games so far, and I think they can make it as close to perfect if they actually want to and try. So I'd say one of my biggest complaints about the game, and specifically the customization, would be with cars like the RX-8, where, you know, it's a JDM car, it's got a rotary, so you'd assume it'd have some good customization options, but there's no body kit, there's basically no bumper mods, no side skirts. You have the big wing, but you don't really have any other body modifications to accent that big wing. Another car would be the RX-7, where I believe that the mods for that car also fall short, where the only big-ish rear wing is this thing, where it changes the whole entire back window, gives these weird fins, which it looks okay, but I'd rather it look normal. I'd also say that cars like the S15 has the same problem, where the wing options are either terrible or at best mediocre. And I feel like of all cars, an S15 should have some super good wing options. Like, what the hell? What is this? What the hell is that? That looks ridiculous. We should have body kits and wings like this for the S15. To me, that's about as good as you could get, for me at least. That for the RX-7, just give us a decent wing like that, or like this. We had this body kit, I believe, in previous games, but for some reason it's not in the game now. Same with the wing. For some reason it's not in this game, even though it was in Horizon 5. And any body kit like that for the RX-8, which the devs don't even need to use like actual official body kits from companies. They could just make their own. I remember Need for Speed Pro Street, they would have body mods where it was basically a template for a bumper, and then you could change how it looks, like the size of maybe the intakes or the front splitter. You could just change things like that. And even if it didn't have to affect aero, that'd still be fine. At least it would look better and look how we want it to look. Another thing that doesn't make sense at all is the full rotor seems to not have the option to put a turbo on it. All you can do is remove the restrictor plate, which I guess you could argue that the reason why the full rotor's in the game is because of the 787. But even so, the full rotors put into RX-7s like Mad Mike's, that's based off of that engine anyway, and they put turbos on that all the time. So it's completely normal to have a turbo on a full rotor. There's no excuse why that isn't in the game. Even in a previous game, I believe it was the last Motorsport, the full rotor had a turbo option. Even if it's a single turbo, as long as it's something. And again, these wing options for these cars are pretty abysmal. Like that. That's not that good, man. The next thing is more logic behind engine swaps, especially for a car like the Chevelle or other old muscle cars. So in Horizon 5, there was a 7.4 liter twin turbo V8, which produced 1,750 horsepower. It sounded amazing. It was, in my opinion, by far the best sounding engine in the game. And paired with this car, my favorite car in the game, basically allowed me to put probably hundreds of hours in the game just on this car alone, just drifting all over. Um, it really unlocked the fun in the game for me. But for some reason, they chose to not put it on this car and other muscle cars, which you'd think the 70 Chevelle is probably the king of all muscle cars. Maybe other than like a convertible Hemi Cuda or something like that. But if you go over to a pickup truck, you see that it has it here. Now you think, okay, that's cool. You can put a big motor in a pickup truck. That's cool. But when you look at this, the widest tires you can put on the pickup truck with 1,750 horsepower are 305s. But you can't put it on the Chevelle, which has 345s, I believe. Yeah, 345. So it has wider tires, but it has lesser engine options, even though the Chevelle is an actual drag car. That's literally what it is. Which, I guess that's another thing that I wish they had in the game, which, why can't I have wider tires, like even 365s, 405s? Let me tub that thing. It's a goddamn muscle car. I should be able to put some wide drag tires on the back. And I think the excuse, I think I heard it somewhere, where they want to limit some cars to not make things as crazy, and I think that's, I don't know, it's such a weird excuse. Just let us do the things we want in the game. Again, if a pickup truck has that motor, the 7.4 liter twin turbo, the big muscle cars should definitely have it. And I don't care if people would call it lazy. I think that they should literally copy and paste the exhaust note from the Forza Horizon 5 version of the 7.4 liter. Just copy and paste it into this game. It's by far the best sounding engine in the game, in my opinion. You can even have a listen. And I'd say the angle kits, like the drift suspension, when you turn, it's not modeled for certain cars like the Chevelle and others. I believe the Charger as well, where it looks like you're only steering about halfway, but in reality, the game recognizes it as you having the drift suspension, so it actually kind of looks weird. You can't steer like all the way. Another complaint I would say is, I'm sure this will get patched, but translucent and spawning cars. They also turn corners really weird sometimes, where they don't steer how a normal car would. I'd also say the AI is pretty bad right now, at least in some parts of the map where the cars get confused. I have a clip of that I'll show. I'd say, instead of giving us cars like a Koenigsegg Agera and then an Agera RS, I feel like with the Agera, they should give us a wing option So we can put the Agera R wing onto the Agera. And I think that you should be able to put it on that, so not only could you make the Agera R, but you could also have it as an Agera S because the S has the same wing as the Agera R. So I think it'd be 3 cars in one. That'd be really cool. Because it's basically the same body, it's the same everything. Just maybe put a small engine upgrade. Maybe they could have that like engine package. Maybe have it as a restrictor plate in the engine customization menu. And we get to the 940 horsepower or the 1040 or the 1140, I believe it is. Another thing, especially with the Agera RS, is when you're at high speed, the wing is supposed to go down due to the high amount of downforce at high speeds, but in this game it actually stays up, so that needs to be fixed, I would say. One thing I notice is, I get it's a newer game, it does look better than Horizon 5. I feel like they should really try to work on making this game easy for PCs and even PS5s to run, whether that's optimization or maybe compressing the file. I don't know if that would work. It was 150 gigs or 146 gigs. Again, I want to harp on the customization options for especially the JDM cars. I saw that the 89 Sylvia doesn't even have a V8 option, which is kind of weird. I'd say a pretty common car, especially in drifting, to put in a Sylvia or like an S14, S13, maybe not S15, but I think we need more spoiler or rear wing options, especially for the S15s and all that. Another thing about the S15 is I noticed that the biggest or the widest tire you can put on the S15 is a 365, which I think that's weird because you can't even get that on most muscle cars. Another thing I would say is maybe more variety of things like muscle cars, where in previous games we've gotten 71 Roadrunners, which isn't a very sought after car in comparison to the first 3 years, where I believe no Forza game has ever had a 68 or 69 Roadrunner, which I think that'd be a really good addition to the game. I think a 70 Roadrunner would definitely fit in this game, especially if they do a Tokyo Drift DLC, because Dom had one at the end, the silver one. And I think with that DLC, if it does come out, they should have Sean's S15 at the end of the movie. I think another good option would be a 68 or 69 Chevelle. I think those are pretty unique and pretty good looking, but still different enough to not be a clone of the 70. One thing I notice is when you're editing tunes while driving, once you unpause the game, your car's automatically stopped. So like if you're trying to figure out your gear ratios, it's a little wonky because you have to get back up to speed instead of fine tuning it on the fly. So it will just take a bit longer and kind of be more annoying instead of just getting it done the first or second time in maybe like 10 seconds. Instead of it being 10 seconds, it could be 30 seconds because you have to keep getting up to speed each time you want to change it to get it to that perfect speed. Another thing is I couldn't figure out how to remove the racing stripes from specifically this car. Because usually in previous games, if you change the body color on the page, it has all the shades. Whatever color you pick, that's going to be the entire color of the body of the car. But in this game, for some reason, the stripes are still there. But I did find a way to have the stripes removed, but you have to change the color of the car while you're buying it in the auto show. Some cars like the Honda Integra number 33, I guess WTAC or WTAC, it's a front wheel drive car. it has drift suspension, but it doesn't have a rear wheel drive swap. So I'm just wondering what's the point of a drift suspension if it's front wheel drive. That just doesn't really make sense to me. One problem I noticed, especially while drifting, was the car would randomly downshift into second or third. Like even from sixth gear, it would just downshift all the way to second. I would say an interesting option would be if we could either remove traffic cars during free roam or at least maybe have slightly less cars, because sometimes there's like 10 cars piled up or in a row on the street, and I don't really want to have to drive on the grass every 5 minutes just to get past the cars. Like if it's one car and I have to dodge it, that's fine. But if it's like literally 10, that just seems like a hassle. So yeah, I would say my main problems with the game are the customization options, like the wings and the body kits. S15s and definitely the RX-8 should have more options. Should have a wide body. Should have more wings. The full rotor should definitely have a turbo option because we have two 3-rotor options that have 1,000 horsepower, but the full rotor has 700. That just doesn't make sense. The Sylvia should have V8 swaps and more, if not better, wide bodies. Even if they're not real wide bodies, if the devs want to make their own. And I would definitely say to bring back the 7.4 liter twin turbo to the cars that had it in Forza Horizon 5, because I think that's a really fun engine and it sounds really good. So yeah, I would definitely say this game is really good. If you're thinking of buying it, I would say it's probably the best one yet. It has some problems, but I think those problems could be easily corrected. The map is great. It's probably the best, I would say, by far. The only one that would come close, in my opinion, was Horizon 3. But this one is really good, and I still haven't seen it all. And every time I see more of it, it just keeps getting better. I'd say the dialogue sometimes is pretty cringe, but honestly, in this type of game, I don't really care. I usually just turn all that off if I can. I usually don't even listen to it because I think the physics and the gameplay, the cars, the sound, how it looks, how the game plays is much more important, and I think this game does that really well. So yeah, if anyone agrees, I guess you can comment down below. If any devs watch this, I mean, I did make this video to talk shit. I just think the potential of this game is really high, even though it's really good already. So yeah, that's it.